Sorry. Neighborhood's gone down the last few weeks. Anyways, I think it's time to talk about some of my favorite subjects. Broad comedy, kink awakenings, and Cary Grant. And this movie has all three of those in spades. Let's talk all about Arsenic and Old Lace. Now, Arsenic and Old Lace started off as a very, very successful Broadway play. And let's just say they were hungry to make this a movie. Like, it was a runaway hit. And they had the perfect person in mind to star in this. The ever so hammy and ever so cute and ever so sexy voiced Cary Grant. And let's say this is Cary Grant at his most hammy. A Nathan Lane level overactor in this movie.
You want to be murdered? You want to be killed? Do you? Oh.
Let's get into it, shall we? So it's Halloween night, and Cary Grant is a confirmed bachelor. He is a theater critic who is known for bashing anything having to do with love stories, falling in love, marriage, happy lives, and happy endings. He's one of those sourpuss kind of critics with the biggest reputation all of Brooklyn. And this is a Brooklyn tale, by the way. So Halloween night, he is sneaking off to the marriage registry with his bride-to-be. And there's reporters in tow going to see who the newlyweds are going to be for their paper when they spot him in disguise, trying to get married in the cover of night. Well, they spot him because he's trying his best to tell the man at the registry, who's hard of hearing, his name with just trying to be as discreet as possible without giving it all away. He ends up having to shout it out. Suddenly the reporter's here and the chase is on. Him and his bride-to-be shove a guy out of a phone booth. And he's professing to her like, look, I'm a confirmed bachelor. Who am I? What am I doing? What am I thinking? Like, this goes against everything I believe in. Like, come on now. What am I doing? And she's just like, you're right, Mortimer.
No, I can't. I won't. I can't go through with it. I won't marry you and that's that.
You're absolutely right. Like, she's so agreeable because she already knows how to play him like a little fiddle, okay? Like, he is a little kitty cat in her hand, and he folds immediately looking at her, and she is so pretty, his bride-to-be. And her hair, I'm obsessed with her hair. Her hair is everything. He acquiesces and goes through the marriage, gets right back in line, and gets married. He returns home to his spinster aunts. We are visiting them, and they have his father-in-law, who is a preacher man. Basically, he is rattling off how he does not like Mortimer and the books he writes, and his stances on marriage. Is like, no man like that should be getting married, especially to my daughter. And they assure him Mortimer is a beautiful boy, and he's going to be so good to their daughter. He gets up and leaves, and they are a little bit of an oddball couple, and this one actually does have Josephine Hull in it. Y'all clocked me in the Rebecca review so fiercely. My bad. I don't know why I thought Josephine Hull. I don't know why that was in my mind. I said it so many times to the point where like me as an editor is just like, we're just going to leave it in because I feel like a voiceover is just going to ruin it. It's going to ruin the vibe. But I digress. This actually has Josephine Hull in it and she is amazing. The aunts here kind of give off like a Barb and Star kind of quality. I'm not going to lie. Like they are very like, happy-go-lucky. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh no, like it's very that. Like they are so bubbly and so likable that when you find out the secret about them, it kind of hits you off guard and the comedy really starts to set in. Well, Mortimer returns home to surprise them and they already know because they've been baking a cake. They knew immediately he was going to marry this girl. They have their ways. They found out he got married in this cover of night. They got a cake going, but he's got to leave. Like he's got a taxi waiting to go on his honeymoon. They're going to go overseas. They're going to go to Niagara Falls and just basically go on a world tour as their honeymoon and get away from everything. But before he goes, he wanted to get his aunt's blessing. And the girl lives next door to them. So she's sitting there waiting, packing her bags while he returns home to pack his. But Mortimer has this tendency where he kind of waxes poetic about the plays he's seen. Like he's such a critic where he just can't get a bad play out of his mind. He's reminiscing about how this is sort of like the setup to a terrible play he saw recently, where it opens up with a dead body stuffed inside of the seat by the balcony. And just out of force of habit, he lifts up the seat of the balcony, and what should he find? A dead body. Okay. He is, of course, like slams it shut, distraught. This is where the hamminess really comes in. Like Cary Grant is milking it. He's so funny in this. I love him. And the aunts come back and he tells them like, yeah, by the way, did you know there's a dead body inside your seat?
But there's a body in the window seat.
Yes, dear. We know.
This is where the comedy begins. Mortimer finds out his aunts have killed a man. Not only just a man, they've killed several men with poison. They've been poisoning them. They've been taking in old sorry souls and sending them off on their way. Men who are tired, men who are sick, men who have nothing to live for. they've been putting them out of their misery. They've been euthanizing old men. And the way they are so cavalier about it and just like, well, yes, it's just what we do. And he has a cousin who thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt. He's fully off his rocker. Like, he dresses up and fully believes without a shadow of a doubt he is Teddy Roosevelt. So the way they explained it away to him was he was already digging a lock in the basement anyway. And he confused the dead body for having yellow fever. Now, initially, this started off because the first man that died in their house died of a heart attack. And Teddy Roosevelt confused him for a victim of yellow fever and buried him in a lock in the cellar that he dug out. So they thought, well, might as well make a hobby out of it. So they've been inviting over sorry souls, taking them in, giving them a nice warm meal, and a little bit of wine. That also happens to be laced with arsenic poison. Because apparently if they used tea, it had a very obvious odor. This is all taking place in the course of one night. And Mortimer is, of course, mortified. Like, he wants to get to the bottom of this, but he also has to get ready to go on his honeymoon. He's playing the great balancing act. This is where the comedy really comes in, of like trying to figure out how to assess this situation, as well as escape on his honeymoon with his bride who keeps whistling to him that she wants to leave.
You can't marry me one minute and throw me out of the house the next.
Oh, darling, I'm not throwing you out of the house. I'm not throwing you out of the house. Will you get out of here?
As it goes in these movies, chaos just keeps piling onto itself. Mortimer has an estranged brother who is a psychopath, full-blown murderous sociopath. And what should happen is that he shows up at the door with his assistant, Dr. Einstein.
What's that thing there, darling? That thing that looks like a cigar store, darling. What is it?
Played by Peter Lorre, who is adorable. Like, he is such a little simp, Igor kind of assistant henchman to his brother, who's an absolute psychopath that wants to start renting the room so that he can get in and get his revenge on Mortimer. Mortimer is, of course, taken aback and he's like, I don't need this shit right now. Like, he's had reconstructive surgery and the surgery has been botched. He's got a giant scar on his face. He looks like Boris Karloff. And fun fact, Boris Karloff was actually starring in Arsenic and Old Lace on Broadway and wanted to do the film, but they would not let him out of his contract because he was the star. And they didn't want to risk ticket sales. So they did not let him film, but he was nice enough to let them use his likeness and make all these jokes about him. Like, he was a good sport about it, but it really burned him that he could not be in the movie. Like, the Broadway production was depending on him too much. Now, this movie actually took like 3 years to release because the play was that successful. Like, it had a long run. It was released early to the troops who were fighting over in the war, so they got to see it before anybody else. But as soon as it was released, it was a gigantic hit. I don't want to give too much away because it's a very funny film. Let's just say chaos ensues, and eventually his brother manages to corner Mortimer and enact his revenge. Now, this is a famous scene that all of us Kingsters know, where Mortimer is waxing poetic about a terrible play he's seen, with the guy in it is a complete idiot.
Now, he knows he's in a house with murderers, so he ought to know he's in danger. He's even been warned to get out of the house. And does he go? Yes. No, he doesn't. He stays.
Like, he's there with the murderer. The guy's obviously a murderer, and he puts his back to the man the whole time, and eventually gets ambushed, tied up with the curtain cords, and murdered on stage. Well, what should happen is that he's basically giving his murderers all the ideas of how they can capture him, and they do.
Large as life. He sits there waiting to be tied up and gagged. A big dog.
And this is the very climax of the movie, so I will not spoil it for you, but let's just say it only gets more wacky from here. If you want a really fun, nonsensical ride, you're going to love Arsenic and Old Lace. It's one of my absolute favorites. I mean, for obvious reasons, but again, it's a hilarious movie and it's totally a staple of comedy. Get into it. Cary Grant in Arsenic and Old Lace by Frank Capra. Let me know if you guys like this movie, if you've ever seen it, or if you saw it in theaters, please let me know. I'm dying to hear what you think about it. I think it's an absolute classic. Like, as far as great broad comedies goes, you can't go any better than this. Like, it's on the list of greatest comedies of all time for a reason. And Cary Grant is an absolute masterclass when it comes to comedy, slapstick, and how to just really ham it up and be as camp as possible. Male camp. This is very that. He's the campiest man you'll ever see. Get into Arsenic and Old Lace. All right, I'll see you all next time, okay? Take care of yourselves and bye! Well, it's over now. Click my next YouTube video. Like, comment, and subscribe.